Have you ever imagined a millionaire trading their corner office for a pair of worn-out sneakers, stepping into the gritty reality of their own empire, only to uncover secrets that could destroy everything they've built? Today, I'm diving into the incredible story of Nathan Brooks, a self-made entrepreneur who turned a small shop into a retail giant called Brooks Mart. But one daring decision to go undercover as an ordinary customer flipped his world upside down. What shocking truths did he discover in the aisles of his own store? And how did a single, unassuming employee become the unexpected hero of this tale? Stay with me until the end, because this journey of grit, betrayal, and redemption will leave you speechless. Nathan Brooks is the embodiment of the American dream. Born into a modest family in a quiet Ohio town, he faced financial hardships from a young age. Through sheer determination, he earned a college scholarship and laid the foundation for Brooks Mart, a retail chain offering high-quality, affordable household goods. Under the slogan, "Made for You from a single store," Nathan expanded to hundreds of locations across the U.S., becoming a household name. By 48, he had achieved financial freedom, and a decade later, he stood as a beacon of perseverance and vision. Unlike many in his position, Nathan never chased extravagance. He settled into a cozy suburban home, savoring quiet mornings with coffee on his porch and long hikes through nearby woods. His life was a testament to valuing simplicity over splendor, trait I find deeply inspiring in a world obsessed with material wealth. But after years of peaceful retirement, a restlessness began to stir within him. The long, uneventful days of reading and gardening couldn't fill the void, left by the thrill of building something meaningful. He missed the hands-on days of his first store, the connection to his roots. So Nathan made a bold choice. Few CEOs would dare to experience Brooks Mart not as a boss, but as an everyday customer, determined to see if his company still lived up to its promises. Nathan ditched the suits for a plain blue polo shirt and khaki pants. His mission was simple yet profound: to check if the values he instilled decades ago were still alive in the heart of his stores. I admire this move not just for its audacity, but for what it reveals about Nathan's character, a leader who, even after reaching the pinnacle of success, refused to disconnect from the ground level of his creation. After visiting several stores nationwide and noticing recurring issues, Nathan's next stop was store number 147, nestled in a busy suburban area far from headquarters. Walking through the doors, he felt a wave of nostalgia. The scent of freshly brewed coffee from a small counter, the neatly arranged shelves, and the soft background music stirred pride in his chest. But he quickly reminded himself of his purpose. He wasn't there to reminisce. He was there to observe, to test if the customer service matched the made-for-you ethos, especially after spotting flaws elsewhere, blending in as an average shopper. Nathan picked up a few items: a set of kitchen knives, a cotton blanket, and a box of light bulbs. His first stop was the customer service counter, which he expected to be a hub of warmth and assistance. Instead, it was deserted. 4 customers stood in line, their faces etched with frustration, curious to see how this would unfold. Nathan joined them after a tedious 10-minute wait. A young employee named Kyle finally appeared. Without a hint of apology, Kyle leaned against the counter and snapped, "What do you want?" Nathan watched as Kyle dismissed a customer's request to return a faulty blender with vague policy excuses, and barely acknowledged another's question about the electronics section, pointing lazily while glued to his phone. When Nathan's turn came, he offered a polite smile and asked, "Can you help me check the price of this item?" Kyle didn't even glance at the product, muttering, "There's a scanner over there," while gesturing vaguely down an aisle. Nathan was floored. This wasn't the Brooks Mart he had envisioned. As he walked away, a thought gnawed at me. Would Kyle have acted differently if he knew the man before him was the founder of the very company he worked for? It's a stark reminder that true professionalism should never hinge on who you think you're serving. It must be a consistent standard, no exceptions. Not long after Nathan approached another employee, a middle-aged man named Samuel, who was restocking shelves. The contrast was immediate. Samuel paused his task, flashed a genuine smile, and asked, "How can I help you today?" Nathan posed a few questions about products, and Samuel responded with patience, even offering alternatives and practical tips. It was clear Samuel took pride in his role, no matter how ordinary Nathan appeared. During a casual chat, Samuel revealed he'd been with Brooks Mart for nearly 11 years. "I love this place," he said. "The customers, the work, it feels like home, but lately it's been tough. We're understaffed and some newer staff don't seem committed. It frustrates me, but I do my best to keep things running." As Nathan thanked Samuel and turned to leave the aisle, something caught his eye. A faded photograph tucked into the corner of Samuel's work apron. It was a grainy image of a young boy and an older man standing in front of the very first Brooks Mart store, the one Nathan had opened decades ago in Ohio. A chill ran down his spine. He hesitated, then casually asked, "That photo in your apron, mind if I ask who it is?" Samuel's face softened with a bittersweet smile. "That's me as a kid with my dad. He worked at the original Brooks Mart back when it was just one store. He always talked about the owner, a man who treated everyone like family. Dad passed a few years ago, but I kept this photo to remind me why I stay here. It's not just a job, it's a legacy." Nathan's heart raced. He realized Samuel's father must have been one of his earliest employees, someone he'd worked alongside in those grueling first years. He masked his shock, nodding with a faint smile, but inside, he was reeling. How had he never known that one of his most loyal employees carried such a personal tie to his past? This unexpected connection deepened Nathan's resolve. He wasn't just fixing a company, he was honoring a bond that spanned generations. I can't help but think how fate plays its hand in the strangest ways. What are the odds that Nathan would stumble upon a piece of his own history in the middle of an undercover mission? This shift shows that his journey is not just a business examination, but also a rediscovery of his values. Nathan left store 147 with a heavy heart, now burdened not just by the operational flaws, but by this personal revelation. Samuel's dedication was exactly what he hoped to see across his chain, but Kyle's apathy signaled a deeper problem. The polished reports from his executives painted a rosy picture, yet beneath the surface lay cracks in the company culture. Determined to uncover the full scope, Nathan returned to headquarters to review employee records and customer feedback for store 147. What he found was disheartening: numerous complaints about poor service, with Kyle's name cropping up repeatedly. Meanwhile, Samuel had been recommended for promotions multiple times, but was denied due to budget constraints. I see this as a glaring flaw in the system Nathan built. Rapid expansion had created blind spots where loyal employees were overlooked and others slipped through without accountability. Could he turn this around before the damage became irreversible? Back at headquarters, Nathan resolved to tackle these issues head-on, starting with store 147, which had left the strongest impression on him. But when he pitched reforms to his executive team, resistance emerged. Chief Operating Officer Carl dismissed the focus on lower-level staff as trivial. "We're running a national chain, not a family store," Carl argued. "If we micromanage individual employees, well, lose sight of broader goals." Nathan understood that without his team's buy-in, any change would falter. I can't help but note how Carl's stance reflects a harsh reality in many large corporations across America, where profits often eclipse people. For Nathan, whose values were rooted in personal connection, this clash was a test of his resolve. Before the debate could be settled, a crisis struck store 147. Late one night, after most staff had left, a water pipe in the basement burst, unleashing a torrent of flooding. This wasn't a minor leak. The basement stored critical assets, including small delivery trucks and industrial electrical equipment like high-capacity capacitors, which posed a severe risk of short-circuiting if submerged. Samuel, working a night shift to inventory stock, heard the rush of water first. Without hesitation, he alerted the emergency maintenance team and with a colleague raced downstairs to contain the damage using sandbags and whatever materials they could find. The water reached knee level, the air thick with the stench of machine oil. The danger was palpable. Any contact between the water and capacitors could trigger an explosion or fire. Samuel even risked his safety by moving electrical wires near the equipment to prevent disaster, all while the flood worsened. Thanks to his quick thinking and courage, the damage was minimized by the time help arrived, and no one was injured. I'm struck by Samuel's bravery here. In a moment of crisis, he didn't hesitate to put himself at risk for the greater good, a quality that no corporate report could ever capture. The next morning, as Nathan arrived at store 147 to assess the damage, he overheard a tense exchange between two maintenance workers inspecting the burst pipe. "This didn't just happen on its own," one grumbled. "Look at the rust and the loose fittings. Nobody bothered to check or maintain this." In months, maybe years, Nathan's stomach churned. He pulled the workers aside, pressing for details. After an uncomfortable pause, they confessed that the pipe's condition was a result of neglect. Routine inspections had been skipped and staff had ignored early warning signs like minor leaks, assuming someone else would handle it. Reports of needed repairs had been filed but sat unaddressed by store management, buried under excuses of not enough time or not in the budget. But how could such oversight persist in a company built on care and accountability? Nathan's mind raced to the apathetic attitudes he'd witnessed. Could employees like Kyle, disengaged from their roles, have contributed to this negligence? Or was the fault higher up, with managers failing to enforce standards and prioritize safety over short-term savings? Nathan kept his frustration in check, ordering a thorough review of maintenance protocols while instructing the workers to document every lapse they'd observed. This sobering revelation shifted everything. What started as a mission to improve customer service now exposed a deeper failure in responsibility within his own ranks. For Nathan, this wasn't just about fixing a store anymore. It was about rebuilding a culture of diligence from the ground up. Nathan was shaken to realize the potential catastrophe they had narrowly avoided. Without Samuel's actions, the financial loss would have been staggering, and worse, lives could have been endangered. Standing in the damp aftermath, Nathan knew this incident wasn't just a wake-up call about infrastructure. It was a glaring spotlight on the value of employees like Samuel, who often went unnoticed by those at the top, and a warning of deeper threats within his company. Determined to act, Nathan called a meeting with his executives and store managers, including those from store 147. He didn't hold back. "I've seen firsthand how disconnected we've become from our roots," he declared. "Our slogan is made for you, but are we truly living it? One employee's negligence can tarnish our name, while another's dedication can save us. Literally, it's time to rebuild our culture from the ground up." Even skeptics like Carl couldn't argue against the evidence of Samuel's heroism, though Nathan kept the lingering issue of the pipe incident under wraps. For now, Nathan rolled out sweeping reforms with unwavering resolve. First, he introduced mandatory customer service training for all staff, emphasizing accountability and empathy. Employees like Kyle were given a chance to improve through mentorship programs with clear consequences for repeated failures. Second, he established a recognition system to celebrate dedication, ensuring talents like Samuel weren't overlooked. At the meeting, Nathan personally announced Samuel's promotion to assistant manager of store 147, a moment met with heartfelt applause. Samuel, visibly moved, later confided, "I never thought anyone at the top noticed what we do down here. This means everything." Nathan didn't stop there. He created employee councils at every store, giving staff a direct line to voice concerns and ideas to headquarters. He also committed to regular undercover visits to stay connected to the front line. Quietly, he pushed forward with a discreet investigation into the pipe incident, determined to uncover the truth without alarming his team. These changes weren't just policy shifts. They were a reclamation of the personal touch that made Brooks Mart special, proving that true leadership lies in listening and adapting, even amidst hidden challenges. A week after the meeting, Nathan decided it was time to return to store 147, not as the CEO in a sharp suit, but as the everyman he'd been during his initial undercover visit. This time, however, he wouldn't hide his identity forever. He wanted to connect with the staff on a deeper level, to show them that the changes had announced weren't just empty promises from a distant boardroom. Dressed in a simple jacket and jeans, he walked through the familiar aisles, observing the early signs of improvement. Shelves were better stocked and employees seemed more attentive. Yet he could still sense an undercurrent of uncertainty among the staff, as if they weren't sure whether these reforms would last or fade, like so many corporate initiatives before. After an hour of quietly assessing the store, Nathan gathered the team in the break room during a slow period. The employees, including Kyle and the newly promoted Samuel, exchanged curious glances as they filed in, unsure why they'd been called together. Nathan took a deep breath, removed his baseball cap, and smiled. "I owe you all an explanation," he began. "A few weeks ago, I walked these aisles, not as your CEO, but as a regular customer. I wanted to see Brooks Mart through your eyes and through the eyes of the people we serve. What I found broke my heart. Long wait times, frustrated customers, and a sense that we've lost the spirit of Made for You. I saw the problems, but I also saw the potential, especially in people like Samuel, who went above and beyond to help a stranger like me." A murmur of surprise rippled through the room. Kyle shifted uncomfortably in his seat, perhaps wondering if Nathan had noticed his earlier apathy. Samuel, on the other hand, beamed with quiet pride. Nathan continued, "I disguised myself because I needed the unfiltered truth. And the truth is, we've let you down. We've let systems slide, ignored maintenance, like that pipe burst, and failed to give you the support and recognition you deserve. But I'm here to tell you that ends now. I've seen what you're capable of, and I'm committed to rebuilding this company with you. Not just for you." Before diving deeper into his vision, Nathan paused for a special announcement. "Speaking of recognition, I'm thrilled to share some news. Samuel, your dedication and heroism haven't gone unnoticed. It's my honor to promote you to assistant manager of store 147, effective immediately." The room erupted in heartfelt applause. Samuel, visibly moved, managed a quiet, "Thank you, sir. I never thought anyone at the top noticed what we do down here. This means everything." Nathan nodded warmly, allowing the moment to sink in before continuing. He then leaned forward with a spark of excitement in his eyes. "I have ideas, but I want to hear yours too. Imagine if we turned store 147 into a model for every Brooks Mart, a place where customers feel like family and employees feel like they matter. What if we started community programs right here, like hosting local events or partnering with schools for supply drives? What if we made sure every voice from cashier to manager shaped how we grow? I've already started employee councils across the chain, but I want store 147 to lead the way. Tell me, what do you think we should do to make this place truly made for you?" The room fell silent for a moment. Then Samuel spoke up, his voice steady but emotional. "Mr. Nathan, I've worked here for years, and my dad did too when this store first opened. Back then, we knew every customer by name. Maybe we can bring that back, start a program where we learn about regular customers, their needs, and check in with them. It's small, but it could mean a lot." Nathan nodded, jotting down the idea with genuine interest. Then, to everyone's surprise, Kyle raised his hand hesitantly. "I know I haven't been the best employee," he admitted, "but this training has made me see things differently. What if we had a suggestion box for customers, not just complaints but ideas on how we can help them better?" "It show we're listening." Nathan's face lit up. That's exactly the kind of thinking we need, Kyle. Let's make it happen. For the next hour, ideas flowed freely. Some practical, like better shift scheduling to reduce burnout, and others ambitious, like creating a small in-store space for community gatherings. Nathan listened intently, sharing his own vision of a company where every store felt like a cornerstone of its neighborhood. He promised to personally oversee the implementation of their best suggestions, ensuring that Store 147 would be the proving ground for a new era at Brooks Mart. As the meeting wrapped up, the energy in the room had shifted. There was a flicker of hope, a sense that they were part of something bigger. Nathan left the store that day, not just as a CEO, but as a partner in their journey, determined to turn their shared ideas into reality. The impact of Nathan's reforms, amplified by his personal engagement at Store 147, rippled through the company. Take Maria, a single mother of two, who visited Store 147 during a harsh winter. Struggling to afford a heater, she approached the customer service counter with hesitation, expecting indifference. To her surprise, Kyla, now trained and mentored, greeted her with a smile, listened to her plight, and helped her find a discounted unit within her budget. As Maria left the store, her children clutching her hands, relief washed over her face. "I didn't expect kindness," she later shared. "It made all the difference." Then there's Aisha, a young employee at Store 89 in another state. Inspired by the new employee council, she proposed a family day event to boost community engagement. Her idea was greenlit, and the event became a hit. Families flocked to the store for games, discounts, and connection. Aisha's initiative not only increased sales, but also strengthened Brooks Mart's reputation as a neighborhood staple. These stories aren't isolated across the chain. Customer satisfaction scores climbed, employee turnover dropped, and complaints dwindled. Nathan's vision of a company that truly lived. Its slogan began to take shape, one store at a time. Nathan's journey through the aisles of Store 147 transformed more than just Brooks Mart. It reshaped his understanding of leadership. Stepping into the shoes of an everyday customer, he learned that true strength lies not in boardroom decisions, but in the quiet dedication of frontline heroes like Samuel, whose family history tied him to the company's roots. The darker shadow of the pipe incident, still under investigation, reminded Nathan that trust must be earned, not assumed, even within his own ranks. As he continues his undercover visits with the same curiosity that sparked this odyssey, Brooks Mart stands stronger, rebuilt on a foundation of care and accountability. Yet the unresolved question of what happened at Store 147 lingers, a mystery Nathan is determined to solve. His story challenges us to look closer, value the unseen heroes, and confront hidden issues before they unravel everything. What secrets will his next visit uncover?